for one's actions.
咁大家知道由於一個人個角色喺度啦，咁佢所做嘅嘢嚟講就帶出一個人嗰個結果係乜嘢？
Yeah. So karma nowadays, it's a very modern term now. Everybody uses the word karma.
咁卡密業報嚟講咧，今日已經成為一個好熱門，大家好多人都認識一個字彙。
They will say karma coming back at you, you know.
咁有好多時嚟講，你嘅業報嚟啦。
And it is actually very much misunderstood nowadays also. Yeah.
咁大多數人嚟講，其實對業報呢個字有時唔多唔少都有唔係完全認識，有些少嘅都有些少嘅誤解。
It is very important in our life because life is all about karma.
咁對我哋生命嚟講係好重要，我哋生活啊、生命上嚟講咧，好多時都係環繞住業報而係出現嘅。
So what do I mean by karma? Karma means activity.
咁當我哋講係業報業嚟講嘅意思係咩咧？就係所做嘅活動。
So anything you do is karma because practically everything that we do from point A to point B is some form of activity.
咁無論我哋做任何嘅活動嚟講咧，無論由一點 A 點去到 B 點嚟講咧，咁做嘢嚟講都係牽涉到業報嘅問題。
And it also refers to the reactions from the actions of your activities or karma.
咁當然咧，當中嘅牽涉到嚟講，我哋所做嘅活動嚟講，帶出一啲嘅活動嘅結果。
So basically, it's a action and reaction cycle.
咁其實呢個係一個循環，就係一個活動。一個活動嘅結果，一個循環嘅出現。
We can now look at it from the Bhagavad Gita point of view.
咁我哋直接係從博家梵歌度係睇一睇嘅觀點係點樣講。
So in the Bhagavad Gita, we learn every living being in this world is an eternal soul encased in a temporary material body.
咁博家梵歌咁講嘅，每一個生物體嚟講咧，係一個永恆嘅靈魂嚟嘅。不過而家佢係困於喺呢個短暫嘅物質身體入邊。
And what we also understand is all of us are eternal living entities who are meant to be with the Supreme Personality of God here.
咁其實我哋應該要知道一點嚟講，我哋每一個都係永恆嘅一個個體喺度靈魂啦。咁我哋係應該同至尊聖格人物嚟講喺一齊嘅。
So from the Gita we understand that the Lord actually desires all these living entities in this material world to have an opportunity to become lovers of God.
咁其實喺梵歌入邊咧係講，博家梵歌入邊講到嚟講，尊主係好想好渴望啊！啲生物體嚟講咧係回翻身邊咧係成為佢嘅情人嘅愛人嘅。
To induce that, he actually creates this material world to create difficulties in existing in this universe, in this material universe.
為咗係做到咁樣嚟講，所以就創造呢個物質世界喺度啦。咁嘅世界嚟講咧，有好多個問題會出現喺度。我哋生活體生活喺物質世界又碰到好多個困難嘅。
In other words, he says that if you live separately from me, then it's going to be difficult living in this material world.
佢換句話說，想係話俾我哋知嚟講，如果我哋想係脫離 Krishna， 係另外自己獨立生活嚟講咧，喺呢個物質世界生活嚟講，其實係好困難。
Therefore, he gives them an opportunity, or you can say a chance, to gradually rectify themselves and come to the understanding that they have a higher purpose.
咁所以佢其實俾個機會我哋啦，能夠係糾正我哋嘅錯誤概念喺度啦，然後係翻去嗰度。
But the rectification takes place in this restricted environment.
但係呢個所謂糾正嚟講，其實要喺呢個咁惡劣嘅環境底下嚟講，將我哋糾正過嚟。
Yeah, so there's this verse, Ajo Nityam Shashvato Yam Purano, means unborn, eternal, permanent living entity. Yeah.
咁佢講到生物體嚟講係永恆嘅啦、無生嘅啦、永遠存在嘅一個生物體。
So each soul has always existed and will always exist as a personal, individual being.
咁每一個靈魂嚟講咧，係永遠都存在，亦經常存在喺度咧，作為以一個個體一個人物嘅生物嘅形式存在。
Another thing we also learn from the Bhagavad Gita is that only the material body begins and ends, For the soul is never born and never dies.
咁從博家梵歌啦，我哋認識到嚟講，只有物質嘅身體嚟講先有開始終結，而靈魂嚟講咧係無生，亦都係無死嘅。
Okay, and then being part and parcel of the Supreme, we are His superior living energy.
咁由於我哋係至尊主嘅不可分割嘅部分嚟講咧，咁其實我哋係至尊主個生命嘅能量嚟嘅。
That one is from the Bhagavad Gita where it says Aparayamitastu Anyo Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Yeah.
咁其實呢個係師節嚟講嘅講到嚟講係我哋係永恆嘅靈魂咧，我哋係至尊一個比較高級嘅能量嚟嘅。
Krishna explains to the living entity that he's actually comparing material energy to the living entity. 咁
事實上 ，Krishna 嚟講係作一個比較，將呢個靈性能量同生物體啦，或者呢個物質能量嚟講作一個比較。
And then he says, besides this material energy, there's a superior energy, and these are all the living entities.
咁 Krishna 講話，除咗呢個物質能量之外嚟講嘅更高嘅能量喺度，呢個就係生物體。
Yeah. So then we are part and parcel. That also he explains in the Gita as Mamevangso Jiva Loka Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. That we are part and parcel, but we are part of His eternal manifestation. We are expansion of His eternal manifestation.
咁亦都講到啦，我哋尊主嘅不可分割部分喺度啦，咁係至尊主嘅能量嗰度而係出嚟嘅。
Yeah, it's kind of warm in here. Yeah. But in any case, the Lord is very kind. He wants to help every living entity. So He gives us unlimited chances to discover the truth that we are spiritual beings and our real home is Krishna's eternal abode.
咁係神係好仁慈喺度啦，咁時時都係向每一個靈魂嚟講咧，係話俾佢哋知喺度，俾每一個靈魂嘅無數嘅機會喺度，等佢認識呢個或者發現呢個真理喺度。咁至於我哋呢個生物體嚟講咧，我哋真正家園嚟講咧，就係 Krishna 嘅永恆嘅居所。
Yeah, I think it's important for us to understand that we originally came from the spiritual realm, and now we are here.
咁其實我哋要認識一樣嘢嚟講，就係原本我哋嘅係從響靈性世界度嘅，但係而家我哋係嚟到呢度。
Yeah. So our original existence is with Krishna and is meant to be a loving relationship. We have ignored that and we want to actually enjoy separately from Krishna in this temporary world.
咁原本嚟講，我哋應該係同 Krishna 一齊喺度啦，係同 Krishna 個關係永遠愛心個咁交流關係喺度，但係我哋係唔想同 Krishna 一齊喺度，而係我哋選擇咗我哋係嚟到呢度。
Yeah, so therefore he is very kindly disposed towards all living entities because he's always giving them an opportunity to actually go back to the spiritual realm.
咁Krishna 好仁慈喺度啦，係俾我哋一個無數嘅機會喺度啦，等我哋每個靈魂嚟講咧，有咁嘅機會係翻返去身邊。
When we come into this material world, we are bound by the three modes of material nature.
咁當我哋嚟到物質世界嚟講，我就受到三種嘅物質自然態捆綁。
Guna, Prakriti, Sambhavaha. That means these three modes, they will capture us.
咁就係話呢三種嘅物質能量嚟講咧，就將我哋嚟講係。
So what do they do? These three modes, the modes of nature, bind us to this material world like shackles in a prison house.
咁呢個三個物質自然界係綁住我哋呢個物質世界咧，就好似一個喺監獄嚟講，俾個手扣一個鎖鏈啊鎖住一樣。
So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur explains that you can be in a prison house, and then there could be a prisoner with a gold shackle, a prisoner could be silver shackle, and a prisoner with iron shackles.
咁巴斯丹嚟講，亦都係咁樣一個比喻喺度咧，話喺個監獄喺度啦，或者你可以有啲高級嘅一個手扣嘅手鎖喺度啊，係用金做嘅，有啲係用銀做嘅啦，有啲係鐵做嘅啦。
So the one in gold shackle, he's thinking he's better off than the one in silver shackles.
咁一個人嚟講係俾啲咁嘅手扣啊，手扣扣住喺啲監獄嚟講係用金做，佢就認為自己嘅身份係高啲嘅。
So the one in silver shackle looks at the one in iron shackle. I'm still better off.
咁一個人用銀俾個銀嘅手鐐啊鎖住嗰陣時嚟講咧，佢就覺得自己係比一啲鐵嘅手鐐鎖住嘅人嚟講係高級啲。
The one in iron shackle is thinking when I'm going to get the gold or silver shackle.
咁而一個係響第三等嗰度嚟講係俾啲鐵嘅手扣嘅手鐐鎖住嗰啲嚟講，就諗緊，我點樣可以係升級去到銀做嘅手鐐，或者係再去到你個金做嘅一個手鐐。
But actually what they all don't understand is they're all in shackles.
咁其實佢哋完全都係唔明白到嘅，其實全部佢哋都係咁樣俾個手鐐係鎖住。
And the whole idea behind Krishna consciousness is to break these shackles and go back to the spiritual world.
而 Krishna 知覺嘅真正意思嚟講，就係要打開呢啲咁嘅手鐐喺度啦，而係將自己係脱離呢啲咁嘅捆綁，係回復自由，翻返嚟 Krishna 嗰度。
But when we act in this material mode and do many different activities, we create what is called karma.
但係當我哋係受呢三種嘅自然態嘅影響底下嚟講，所做嘅活動嚟講呢，跟住就帶俾我哋好多嘅一個我哋頭先所講嘅一個業力業報。
So we also know other things that within this, in the Bhagavad Gita, that within this universe there's upper planetary system, middle planetary system and lower planetary systems.
咁從《波吉梵歌》中呢，我哋都係明白到呢個宇宙嚟講呢，有分為上、中、下三個世界。
So according to our desires and our activities, we are placed in these different levels within this three universe.
咁而根據我哋慾望啦，同埋我哋嘅活動嚟講呢，我哋就會去到呢三個唔同嘅一個世界入邊嗰度。
Generally, the upper planetary system is considered to be heavenly planetary systems.
咁當然我哋所講嘅一個上等嘅世界嚟講呢，就係好似我哋稱為一個天堂嘅星宿。
There you can have many things you can enjoy.
咁喺呢天堂嘅星宿嚟講，我哋有好多個設施啦，可以俾我哋係提供俾我哋享受。
Life is much more pleasant, you can say.
咁意思嚟講就係好多嘅歡樂啊、快樂嘅嘢啦。
But just like in every other place, it is also temporary.
咁就好似我頭先講到嘅所有呢地方嚟講都係好短暫。
The middle planetary systems, we normally in the scriptures they talk about, they are like earthly planets.
咁喺經典入邊記載嚟講咧，譬如中等嘅星宿嚟講咧，咁多數嚟講就係講我哋而家住緊呢個地球。
Generally, people in this situation are in the mode of passion. 咁
通常咧，身處喺呢個世界嘅人嚟講咧，係處於個情慾形態嘅。
And they pursue a lot of fruitive activities. That means activities that generate a lot of wealth, long life, etc.
咁佢哋係做好多個活動嚟講啦，譬如係而從啲活動嚟講，其實構成好多其他活動，譬如係追求長生啊，好多咁嘅嘢。
Yeah, and life, as I said, in this all three worlds. Oh, one more, the lower planetary system. There, generally people go, they suffer.
咁跟住就有一個下等嘅一個世界喺度啦。咁啲人嚟到呢個下等世界嚟講咧，就要係受苦嘅。
Yeah, so I was saying, although you could be in upper planetary system, middle or lower, all the situation there is temporary because the living entities who go to the upper planetary system, after they have enjoyed their time, they can come back to the lower planetary or middle planetary system.
咁就好似我哋講到啦，啲上中下三個世界嚟講咧，都係短暫嘅世界嚟嘅。咁即使你去到個上等嘅世界嗰度，或者天堂星宿啦，咁當你嘅業報響盡嚟講，你都係回復翻落嚟呢個地球嗰度。
For example, if you are a good person in this material world now, in this planet, and you work hard, and you do a lot of pious activities, then the opportunity to go to the upper planet is great.
咁好似或者你喺呢個世上嗰度嚟講啦，咁你一個好人嚟嘅，你做好多善事啊、善行喺度，咁你會有機會嚟講咧，會係投生咧去到呢個天堂星宿嗰度。
So they said, Urdhva Gachanti Sattvat Star. That means you do good and you go to the upper planetary system. Yeah.
咁就好似我哋係做善事、做好事嚟講啦，咁我哋就去到呢個天堂嘅上等嘅天堂嘅星宿。
And then Madhya Tistanti Rajasa. In the middle planetary, those who are predominantly in the mode of passion, they take birth there.
咁啲人嚟講咧，好想操縱、好想控制啲人嚟講咧，意欲好強，控制意欲好強嚟講咧，就會係投生呢個地球嗰度。
And then those who are ignorant or pursue very dark acts, adho gachanti tamasa. So they go down to the lower planetary system.
而有啲人嚟講咧，係比較係追求一啲比較愚昧方面嘅嘢嚟講咧，佢就會係提升啦，去到一啲無知嘅嘢嚟講，就會投生呢個下等星宿嗰度。
But in any case, as I mentioned many times, life in these worlds are all temporary.
咁就好似我講過好多次喺度啦，生命喺呢啲咁嘅三個世界嚟講都係好短暫。
But still, we are in this material world, so we will always look at things as higher and lower levels.
咁仍然啦，由於我哋身處呢個物質世界度嚟講咧，我亦都會係一個視域喺度睇，分去一個高或者低嘅一個分別喺度。物質生活將佢分有高低嘅生活嘅水平有。
Actually, one of the reasons or problem is that we all want to be controllers, or we have a desire to be God.
咁問題就係在於我哋每一個都係有一個控制嘅意欲喺度，我哋每個人都想係成為神。
And when we understand there's also another person who's actually saying he's God, we become angry, or we develop hatred and envy towards that person.
咁當我哋如果聽到原來另一個人嚟講咧係都係比我哋係更高係神嚟講咧，跟住我哋開始係憤怒喺度啦，或者係妒忌喺度啦。
That hatred and envy actually places us in this situation.
佢由於我哋呢種咁嘅妒忌嘅心態嚟講咧，所以先招致到我哋係嚟到呢個物質世界。
And within this material universe, the entire universe runs on the will of the Lord.
咁整個物質宇宙嚟講咧，係響至尊主嘅主嘅一個意願底下嚟講係運作。
And what is that will? The will is that He wants us to rectify ourselves.
咁主嘅意願係乜嘢咧？佢意願嚟講就係想將我哋嘅心態糾正過嚟。
Okay, yeah. Living beings are sent here to fulfill their perverted desires, to experience what it is like to be a controller like God.
咁生物體嚟講咧係被送到嚟呢度嚟講咧，就係嘗試喺滿足佢自己嗰個顛倒咗嘅個意願喺度。呢個意願嚟講係乜嘢咧？就係想經驗佢自己係好似係神咁樣成為一個控制者。
So what does it mean? It means in this material universe, the Lord actually gives us so much facilities. He provides us so that we can fulfill our desires and to fulfill our desires. But the miseries that we encounter remind us that this is not our permanent situation.
咁就咁講啦，呢個物質世嚟講係好多嘅設施嚟講咧，係想俾我哋係滿足我哋慾望喺度。但係我哋講到嚟講，其實呢啲唔係我哋係真正要做會碰到好多困難問題，唔係我哋想得到嘅嘢嚟嘅。
But that's where the difficulty comes in, because we don't have sufficient information, we don't have the right source of information, and so therefore we always end up having the wrong conclusion.
咁由於我哋冇足夠嘅資料或者係足夠嘅一個認識喺度啦，咁變咗好多時我哋會係作出好多錯誤嘅結論。
So what does that mean? It means that oftentimes we are in so much ignorance that we cannot accept the existence of God, or we cannot accept the existence of some supreme being, or there is a better life or opportunity for us somewhere else.
咁嘅意思就係話我哋好無知喺度啦，我哋唔可以係唔可以接受嚟講有一個至尊嘅人物比我哋更加高級，或者一個更高更好嘅生活嘅存在喺度。
And therefore the tendency is to want to find to the extreme limit of enjoyment within this material universe.
所以一個人嚟講呢，一個好嘅強烈對比嘅一個極端嘅一個慾望喺度，就係嘗試喺呢個物質世界嚟講，希望係得到快樂。
And that's on one side. The other side is the Lord's will functions through a series of laws that govern this universe.
咁嘅主嚟講呢，亦都希望能夠係俾我哋認識到嚟講係呢個背後嚟講呢個宇宙係點樣係運作喺度。
So when the living entities try to enjoy his desires, he invariably breaks these rules and laws that are governing this universe.
咁如果生物體嚟講咧，嘗試想係享受嗰時嚟講咧，佢就會要去叫做係打破呢個自然定律入邊嘅一個安排。
And every time he breaks these rules that are there and he doesn't know, he actually binds himself more and more within this universe.
當佢係唔跟隨呢個自然定律底下運作嚟講，而打破呢個自然定律下邊嘅運作嚟講咧，咁佢就會係製造咗好多嘅業報，將自己捆綁住。
Instead of getting free of envy and conflict with one another, there's a tendency to compete with one another, and it ends up with hatred and envy, and then eventually wanting to defeat or destroy the other person.
由於佢係有一個妒忌心啊，或者個競爭嘅心態喺度，佢係想嘗試嚟講係將人哋有個競爭喺度咧，將對方嚟講係打低。
But when we have the knowledge and we understand the existence of God, what happens is we can develop selfless and endless love. 咁如果我哋知道有神嘅存在嚟講，我哋就會培養到無私嘅愛無私嘅愛。 The other thing is also for us to understand is to get a better idea is to know that this material universe is also like a prison house. 咁我哋有另一個睇法嚟講，譬如當呢個物質世界嚟講，就好似一個監獄。And the material body is the prison cell. 咁呢個物質身體嚟講咧，就好似個監倉一樣。Yeah, when we look at it in that way, then we understand why am I going through this difficult situation. 咁當我哋能夠有咁嘅視域嚟睇嚟講咧，我哋就會開始明白點解我哋會經歷咁多嘅困難痛苦。So another potency of this material universe is that it has the ability to put all of us in an illusion, thinking that we are happy in this situation. 仲有一個呢個物質世界個能量幾咁之威力咁之大嚟講，就係佢能夠將生物體嚟講咧，將佢將佢處於個假象當中喺度，以為我就係呢個身體喺度啦。So all these are governed, and when we do not follow the rules, then there is this rule, the will of the Lord in the form of different laws, and one of these laws is the law of karma. 咁主嚟講有好多唔同嘅一個戒律喺度、規律喺度啦。如果我哋係唔跟隨主啲咁嘅戒律、規律嚟講咧，咁就有好多問題。咁其中個規律嚟講咧，呢啲守則或者就係我哋所講呢個就係業報啦。And the law of karma is like a cosmic rule book that ensures justice for all. 咁呢個業報定律嚟講咧，就係呢個宇宙嘅一個規律嚟嘅。咁佢入邊好似個法律嘅書喺度嚟講咧，入邊係規定記載住我哋所要跟住一個正義，有冇一個跟住守法喺度嘅要。So this law of karma, the whole idea behind this is closely related to dharma. Dharma means doing what is right or duty. 咁其實業報嚟講咧，同一個 dharma 呢個職責嚟講咧，有個好密切嘅關係喺度嘅。Of course, for some people it means morality, ethical duties. 咁有啲人嚟講，或者係屬於道德啊、倫理方面啊，或者係某一方面嘅一個責任喺度咁睇。And basically in Hinduism, that's what it is. They feel if you are moral and ethical, then and if you can do it properly, you live a good life and you achieve a good karma. 咁有啲可以咁睇嘅，即係話你道德倫理方面你係做得好好嘅嚟講咧，咁你就會得到好嘅業報啦。Alright, okay, so some of the laws of karma we can look at it now more in detail. 咁
咁而家我哋係嘗試係詳細啲睇一睇業報定律嚟講係乜嘢回事咧。
Okay, so these are laws of karma, and it is within the Bhagavad Gita. If you study closely, it says good acts raise us to a higher states of existence.
咁呢個其實《博家梵歌》入邊都有提到喺度嘅。咁我哋可以詳細睇，好似譬如講做一個善行嚟講咧，就會提升到一個更高嗰個一個存在環境嗰度。
Yeah, and I kind of touched it earlier on. If you follow the trend, and then passionate acts keep us where we are.
咁呢個情慾嘅激情嘅情況嘅行為底下嚟講咧，就將我哋係好似譬如而家我哋而家身處呢個環境嗰度啦。
And dark acts drive us to lower states of consciousness.
咁一啲黑暗嘅一啲嘅係愚昧嘅活動嘅行為嚟講咧，就將我哋帶到呢個低等嘅存在嘅環境。
Now, from our perspective, we are living this material. We only see one level. That's it. We don't understand there's a higher existence. We don't understand there's lower existence also.
Sorry.
So, cell phone off.
Can you
Now, from our understanding, we only see life in this state of consciousness within this material world.
咁對我哋嚟講咧，我哋只係以我哋而家暫時咁意識形態嘅知覺嚟講咧，係睇到我哋所睇到嘅咁嘅認識底下睇呢個世界。
And we don't have a clue or an understanding that's higher levels of existence.
而我哋係冇咩嘅線索嚟講咧，俾我哋係認識到或者知道有更高嘅一個存在。
Nor do we understand that we can go to even worse or lower levels of existence.
甚至乎我哋係唔知道我哋會去到更加差、更加惡劣嘅環境生存環境底下。
So karma allows us to go to higher, lower, or in the same level.
咁而業報嚟講咧，就將我哋可以帶到係好更高嘅啦、好嘅啦，或者係更差、更低嘅一個生活存在嗰度。
And all this existence can happen through a series of lives.
咁呢個嚟講咧，會係當你係認真咁過你生活一系列嘅生活嚟嘅話嘅認真過你生活嚟講，就會做到帶到我哋咁嘅環境嗰度。
Means in this life I'm Tom. In the next life, I'll die and take birth as someone else in a different existence, a higher or could be lower.
咁一連串一系列呢啲咁嘅活動或者嘅投生嘅時候，好似譬如我呢一世嚟講，可能係狗啦，下一世嚟講咧投生另外一樣嘢嚟講咧，就會係不斷咁樣係做好多啲唔同嘅活動。
This taking of new bodies, series of bodies, is what we call reincarnation.
咁呢啲系列唔同嘅投生、唔同嘅身體嚟講咧，咁我哋就稱為叫做係業報。
And we look at all these concepts of soul, reincarnation, and karma. They all fit together very nicely like a beautiful jigsaw puzzle.
咁好似譬如我哋當我睇嚟講，將業報啊、靈魂啊、輪迴啊睇埋一齊嚟講，就好似個砌圖咁，好完美咁擺埋一齊。
Okay. So remember, I was speaking that we are actually spirit soul. So the experiences we go through these different lives, the opportunities that are given, is actually so that we can discover the truth that we are spiritual beings.
咁就好似我講過喺度啦，咁我哋係呢個咁嘅知識嚟講，係俾我哋嚟講係認識到、發現到我哋自己真正自己嚟講係一個靈魂嚟嘅。
So that's what karma is about. Karma is there to help us to come to this conclusion eventually.
咁所以業報嚟講，其實業報最終目的嚟講咧，幫我哋係帶到我哋去到一個結論嚟講，我哋就係呢個靈魂唔係物質身體。
And when we don't come to the right conclusion, it leads us through various lives of misery until we come to the right understanding.
咁當然，如果我哋未去到最後個真正明白到嗰個正確嘅結論嗰陣時嚟講咧，我哋經歷過好多痛苦嘅經歷，然後先係會去到咁，又要帶到去我哋嘅正確嗰個理解嘅結論。
And this is where I lost my train of thought. But anyway, I'll come back to that. But we'll go to the next one. So in every life, this is what we try to do. We try to enjoy and understand birth after birth, until we achieve the final liberation and return to our eternal home.
咁呢個就係我哋而家係做緊嘅嘗試，係生生世世咁樣嚟講，我想去享受喺度啊。咁其實我哋最後直到我哋經歷咁多嘢之後嚟講咧，我哋達到最終嘅解脫嚟講，就係翻我哋永恆嘅家園。
Means every life is an opportunity to go to a higher consciousness. If we misuse it, then we'll have to take birth again and again until we find the right formula or conclusion.
嘅意思嚟講，其實每一個機會，每一次投生嚟都係一個機會俾我哋提高我哋意識知覺，去到更高嘅知覺喺度嘅。咁如果唔係嚟講咧，變咗我哋要不斷咁投生，最後嚟講，我哋去到我哋達到最終嘅目標嚟講，翻去我哋嘅永恆家園。
Now, if we don't learn the lesson, what happens?
咁如果我哋係從中嚟講得唔到嘅教訓嚟講，會發生咩嘢咧？
Yeah, we keep taking birth again.
咁變咗我哋係不斷咁樣係要投生又再投生。
Yeah, one birth, then we think it's good. And then if we don't find the right solution to get out of this material world, then we keep coming back.
咁如果我哋投生喺呢一生嗰陣嚟講，唔能夠可以揾到個解決嘅方法嚟講咧，咁我哋變咗要不斷咁樣去投生輪迴投生。
Srila Prabhupada says, as long as we don't have the right kind of people to awaken us, we will continuously think this is what life is meant to be.
咁聖善泡泡講咧，如果冇一個合適嘅人選啊，係提醒我哋呢方面嘅知識嗰陣時嚟講咧，咁我哋就要不斷地咁樣係重複犯錯受生嗰度。
We can put ourselves in the shoe that before we became, some of us, before we became devotees, we thought this is life. This is what we're going to be doing.
咁好似譬如我哋大家可以攞翻我哋自己嘅個人經驗嚟睇喺度啦。譬如我哋未做奉獻之前嚟講咧，我哋認為我哋以前嘅生活嚟講就係我哋嘅一切。
I remember when I was doing in my college my assignment, I was typing away, and then all of a sudden it hit me. Am I going to be doing this for the rest of my life?
咁好似譬如我讀緊書嗰陣時，喺大學嗰陣時嚟講，咁我喺度做功課嗰陣時嚟講，我就諗嚟講係咁打緊嗰啲作業功課嗰陣時，我諗唔通我就係咁樣嚟講，我一世嚟講，以後嚟講都係咁樣過到。
And it was a frightening moment, you know. Then I was thinking, what is this? You know, why am I doing all this?
咁突然之間我一個諗嚟講，諗點解會咁樣做喺度咧？點解會要咁樣做喺度？
And then my friends came into the lab and they say, hey, hi, and then we were talking and I forgot and I continued the pursuit of my happy life.
咁突然之間個朋友嚟講走過嚟，跟住同我打聲招呼之後，跟住我就乜都唔記得晒喺度啦。跟住覺得係啊幾好喺度啊，我哋過翻自己生活咪幾好喺度。
And later on when I was reading Prabhupada's book, then it struck me, yeah, it's simply that there's something more than just doing this life after.
咁後尾冇幾耐嚟講咧，咁我接觸到泡泡嘅書啦，咁我讀聖泡泡嘅書嚟講咧，咁知道原來生命嚟講應該係點樣用喺度。
Yeah, even though the jigsaw puzzle that I was putting and appeared to fit everything didn't seem to be the right puzzle.
咁即使或者好似個砌圖嚟講，我哋好似好多件嚟講已經一件一件嚟咁冚上去做得好好喺度，但係其實我覺得你嗰個砌圖好似唔係咁啱我。
And the other thing very interesting is every time we think, oh, if I have a better body, I'll do better things.
咁有時或者我哋會咁樣諗嚟講就係，我一個更好嘅身體嚟講，我可以做啲更好嘅嘢。
But the problem is every new body we get has different set of problems with it.
咁但係其實你要明白嚟講，就每一個唔同嘅一個身體嚟講咧，佢都要面對唔同嘅問題。
So sometimes we read, right? Now quite often you read long life. People want to live for a long time. They're trying to find out how to extend lifespan. 咁好似而家啲人咧，好中意嚟講係想長壽啊。咁嘗試嚟講係揾好多資料嚟講點樣可以係養生啊，可以延長嘅壽命啊咁樣。 There's one man who's doing research and he thinks if you just take the right nutrition, you can live a long life.
好似有一個人咧做一個研究咁，佢做個研究嚟講，佢就覺得結論就係話，如果你食啲夠營養嘢嚟講咧，咁你就可以好長壽。
But what he doesn't know is there's this thing called karma. It's waiting to catch him and taking him away.
但係佢唔認識到嚟講，其實背後嚟講有個業報係喺度，業報嚟講係隨時隨地都會可以將佢係帶走。
So tomorrow some maybe an aircraft will fall on him and he is dead, even though he's taking the best nutrition.
咁或者佢食得好有營養價值嘅食物都好，但係呢一啲嘢跌落嚟嗰度咧，就將佢揼死咗喺度。
And then we can all sit around him and say that's bad karma.
咁好或者變咗嗰陣時，我哋可以坐喺身邊啲話嚟講，你冇用喺度，你就點樣嚟講，你都係要離開身體。
Yeah. So every time you see, sometimes you see someone good looking, and so you're thinking, I wish I had better body or as good as they have.
咁有時或者我哋睇我哋身邊嘅人嚟講咧，覺得有佢咁嘅身體嚟講係幾好喺度咧，咁我哋會跟住係咁樣諗喺度。
They may have a good body, a beautiful body, but they may be mad and schizophrenic or whatever.
咁但係有啲人嚟講咧，佢有咁嘅身體或者好靚嘅身體嚟講，又有其他唔同嘅一個問題或者係缺陷係喺度。
So Srila Prabhupada said, make the best use of a bad bargain.
咁所以聖保羅嚟講，就將呢個劣貨嚟講用到最好嘅用途。
So whatever body we have, we use it to understand what our purpose in life is.
咁無論我得到咩身體都好啦，我哋希望用我哋嚟講嘅身體嚟講咧，係去達到嚟講我哋明白到人生嘅目的嚟講係乜嘢。
When we pursue such activities like purpose of life, it is considered to be on the selfless path.
咁如果我哋追求呢個人生嘅目的嚟講咧，咁呢個就係屬於一個無私嘅一個心態。
Otherwise, one is pursuing to make one's life so-called happy, full of sense, enjoyment, and so on. That's a selfish endeavor.
咁一個人如果只顧自己喺度咧，係滿足自己嘅感官享樂嚟講咧，咁其實所做嘢嚟講都係好自私。
Therefore, when we act for a selfish reason, the resultant fruits of those activities bind us to this world.
咁因此咧，當我哋如果所做嘢嚟講，都為咗一個自私嘅一個目的底下而做嚟講咧，所有做出嚟嘅結果嚟講嘅活動帶出所有嘅結果咧，只要我哋捆綁喺呢個世界。
For devotees, those who are practicing sadhana bhakti and so on, this is very important.
咁對一個奉獻者嚟講，去收集呢個係 sadhana bhakti 呢個規範守則嘅瑜伽嚟講咧，係好重要。
Because we are supposed to know that we don't want to pursue selfish things.
因為我哋要知道嚟講咧，就係我哋唔係追求一啲係我哋追求一啲係無私，唔係追求啲自私嘅嘢。
Those selfish actions will actually bind us more in this material world.
因為所有啲咁嘅自私嘅行為啊、心態活動嚟講咧，會將我哋捆綁喺呢個物質世界。
And the selfish acts will deny us the ability to connect with the Supreme Lord favorably.
咁自私嘅行為嚟講咧，會將我哋脫離與至尊主嗰個關係嘅。
Okay. So in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna gives this nice definition of karma.
咁 Krishna 喺《寶家梵歌》嚟講咧，俾呢個業報嚟講比較好嘅定義。
Bhuta bhavudbhava karo visarga karma samyitaha. Action pertaining to the development of the material bodies of the living entities is called karma or fruitive activities.
咁呢個活動能夠發展到一個人呢個活動，即係令人發展到呢個物質身體嚟講咧，生物體物身呢個令到呢個物質身體得呢個生物體得到物質嘅身體嚟講咧，呢個就叫業報。
Basically, we do many activities in this one life.
咁其實喺一生嚟講啦，咁我哋事實上係做咗好多嘅活動。
And the aggregate sum of all these activities determines the next life.
咁我哋所做呢啲嘅活動嚟講咧，而係決定咗我哋下一世係點樣。
So everything that is happening is going to be the cause of something in the future.
咁所有嘅活動做嘅嘢嚟講咧，就係佢會帶嚟到將來發生係啲乜嘢。
So similarly, everything that's happening now was also a cause from a previous action.
咁當然啦，而家發生我哋身上嚟講咧，亦都係之前嘅所做嘅嘢，而家發生落嚟嘅。
So everything is acting on one principle, which is action and reaction and action.
咁其實所有嚟講都係同一個喺呢個原則底下嚟講運作嘅，就係活動啦。跟住活動結果咧，嗰陣時係再做活動。
Yeah. So therefore, we can say that any action or endeavor, physical or mental, carried out to sustain life itself is karma.
咁換句話嚟講，我哋講任何嘅活動喺度，或者任何我哋嘅努力喺度啊，無論係身體方面咧，或者心意方面咧，都好啦，就係將我哋帶到我哋呢個現存嘅生命嚟講咧，呢個就係業報。
Yeah, you can kind of relate this with Newton's third law.
咁或者我哋係用牛頓嘅第三個定律啦。
Every action has an equal and opposite reaction.
其實每一個動力嚟講咧，都會有同樣嘅反動力喺。
Of course, here he's talking about forces, but we are talking about the activities we do may have good and bad reactions for us.
咁當然你可以講緊力學喺度啦，咁但係對我哋嚟講，其實我就係講緊一個好嘅活動嚟講啊，有好嘅業報，壞活動有壞嘅業報喺度，對我哋嚟講。
Yeah, so Newton's third law of motion works on the gross platform of phenomenon in this material world.
咁其實呢個牛津呢個第三個定律嚟講，呢個力學嚟講咧，其實喺呢個物質嘅現象世界嚟講咧，你可以係用呢個現象一個力學嚟去睇喺度。
Yeah, so when we talk about karma, we speak not only about interactions of a living entity with an object, but also between two human beings also.
咁當我哋係講業力嚟講，唔單止人同埋一個物體喺度咧，其實人與人之間嚟講都係有一個業力嘅一個互動係喺度。
Yeah, so then there are consequences for every action we do with one another.
咁每一個活動嚟講咧，之間嚟講都係有個因有個果。
And these consequences may be in this life, or it could be in another life.
咁呢個活動嘅因果結果嚟講咧，可能喺前一生啦，或者喺度喺另一生嗰度。
So it can act on us immediately, or it can take a while to act also.
咁或者有時呢啲咁嘅因果嚟講咧，或者即刻發生我哋現一世嗰度咧，或者係響係來生或者未來先會發生。
But then again, Krishna says karma is very difficult to understand.
所以 Krishna 講嚟講咧，呢個業報嚟講係好複雜喺度啦，唔係咁容易明白理解喺度。
Yeah, gahana karmano gati. So very difficult to know where it's going to lead one.
咁而係你好難知道佢個因果係點樣喺度。
Because a single entity or single person, we perform millions of actions.
因為每一個人或者每個身體嚟講咧，我生物體嚟講，我哋做好多千百萬種嘅活動。
Yeah, and so therefore the multiplicity of actions and reactions go on everywhere. It is very complex.
所以無數嘅活動啊，結果嚟講咧，係不斷咁樣係發生，響無處不在，係度地方都有發生。
So you can see even in political situation, you have different parties giving different views of how they feel is good for. Maybe it's always good for them, but how it's going to be good for the people.
咁就好似唔同嘅政黨一樣度啦，每個政黨嚟講，佢哋都覺得嚟講，佢哋係做嘅嘢嚟講係對人民嚟講係最好喺度嘅。咁當然你都未必係啦。
And you may think, no, this is the right solution.
咁佢哋呢個係最好嘅方案。
But everyone else is saying, no, this is not the right solution.
但係有時有好多人睇嚟講，其實呢個唔係一個好啱嘅個解決方法嚟嘅。
And you're thinking, why can't they use their common sense?
咁有時你會諗嚟講，點解嚟講用啲係常理嚟講係你睇下咧？
Because it's so complicated to understand. They have their karma, you have your karma. You're meant to sit down and listen to nonsense, so you'll have to sit and listen to nonsense.
咁因為嚟講，每一個有業力嘅影響到我哋每一個嘅睇法或者嘅意識喺度，所以有時嚟講，你唔明白你點解咁喺度，會係可能坐低佢哋咁講咪無謂嘢咧，啲廢話你都要坐喺度會聽佢哋講。
So because it's so hard to figure out, because of its complexity.
因為由於業力嚟講咧，已經咁之複雜喺度，所以你係好難去明白。
But we can at least try to understand the basic principles that underline what karma is.
但我哋可以一個用最基本嗰個理解喺度咧，究竟係業報究竟係乜嘢回事？個最基本嘅最低程度一個理解。
And then we can make some sense of what's happening, even if we don't know or have specific information.
或者即使我哋唔係一啲好深入或者好特別嘅理解喺度咧，但係最少我最基本嘅理解，我哋係或者最基本嘅知識嚟講咧，我哋會知道。
About why some people have to undergo some difficulties, why another group of people are having success, and why a third person is not even enjoying life.
咁好似譬如有啲人嚟講，點解係經歷咁多痛苦喺度？點解有啲人會係享受緊喺度咧？或者有啲人嚟講根本嚟講係面對好多個問題喺度。
But by reading the Bhagavad Gita, we can look at karma and get a general idea and an overall understanding of the situation.
咁喺博家梵教嚟講呢一般嘅一個見解度啦，俾我哋知道嚟講係業報係點樣去發生，係咩一回事喺度。
We can understand this from this famous story of the Chinese farmer.
咁我可以從呢個故事咧係講一個中國嘅農夫。
Hey, this is something to enjoy. So long ago, there was this a widowed Chinese farmer, and he had only one son who was working with him.
咁就好似呢個故事嚟講，就講到一個農夫喺度啦。咁佢有一個淨係得一個獨子喺度，一個仔。
And this farmer and his only son, they worked in the cold winters and the scorching rays of summer.
咁佢個仔嚟講咧，無論係好嚴寒天氣咧，或者好炎熱嘅天氣底下嚟講咧，都就係工作嘅。
And they had only one horse.
咁佢哋只有一匹馬啦。
Maybe some of you know this story. No.
大家或者聽過呢個故事喺度。
Oh, I'm surprised. Yeah. So anyway, one day, the son, he didn't lock the gate and of the stable properly, and the horse ran away.
咁有一日嚟講咧，咁佢仔嚟講咧就係個馬厩啦，唔係鎖得好穩啦。咁呢隻馬嚟講就走甩咗。
So there you go, the horse runs away.
咁跟住隻馬嚟講咧就走咗啦。
And when the neighbors found out, they were like, "What happened?" So they came to the farmer, and so they gathered around him and said, What sadness is this? Without your horse, you'll be unable to maintain your farm.
咁於是佢啲鄰居知道之後嚟講咧，跟住就走去同佢講到啦，即係戥佢好似好唔開心喺度。佢話：如果你冇咗匹馬嚟講，你乜都做唔到噶咯喎。
What a failure that your son did not lock the gate properly. That is a great tragedy.
真係一場悲劇嚟㗎。點解你嘅兒子你要咁唔小心喺度啊？做得咁差喺度，會走甩咗匹馬喺度。
And the farmer thought about, he looked at them, and he said, maybe yes, maybe no.
咁跟住嗰個農夫就同佢啲鄰居咁樣講到。或者係好差，即係或者呢件係一不幸嘅事喺度，又或者未必一件不幸嘅事嚟嘅。
And then the next day, the missing horse returned back to the farmer's stable.
咁但係第二日嚟講咧，咁就走失嗰隻馬嚟講咧，跟住又翻去個馬厩嗰度。
But it brought along 6 horses with it.
但係翻去呢次你翻去嚟講，就帶咗係6匹馬一齊同佢翻嚟。
The farmer's son, he saw that, he quickly ran, he got the gate and he locked and the stable firmly, and then now he had 7 horses.
咁跟住佢個仔咧見到之後好開心喺度啦，馬上即刻鎖翻好嗰個馬厩嚟講，跟住佢諗而家好開心啦，我原本得1匹，而家變咗就7匹咁多。
And then when the neighbors found out what had happened, they came running to the farmer and said, "What happiness this brings!"
咁跟住啲鄰居就走嚟講：哎呀，咁開心！呢件係一件好事嚟喺度喎，發生即係一件好事嘅發生喎。
So with 7 horses now you can maintain your farm, and with 3 of them, and you can sell the rest for profit. What blessings!
咁就話而家好好喺度，你7匹馬咁多喺度咧，你可以係幾匹馬嚟講咧，即係3匹馬或者可以係維持你嗰個耕作啊嗰啲嘢喺度，跟住其餘嗰啲馬嚟講可以賣出去，跟住賺翻好多錢，你係幾開心一件事。
And then the farmer looked at them and said, "Maybe yes, maybe no."
跟住個農夫就同我哋講，或者係啦，但係又或者未必係嘅喎。
And then the 3rd day, another incident happened.
但係第3日嚟講咧，又有另外一件事發生。
The farmer's son, he wanted to break the wild horse that came with them. So he got on the horse and he tried to ride it properly.
咁於是佢個仔嚟，因為佢個仔嚟講咧，有一匹野馬想馴一匹野馬喺度啦，於是佢騎上匹野馬喺度啦，係想馴服佢喺度。
But the poor boy got thrown out of the horse and he fell hard.
但係匹野馬嚟講，將佢係拋出嚟，跟住係跌咗落地下嗰度。
And he broke his leg.
但係就整斷咗隻腳。
And then the neighbors, when they found out, they came running to the farm and said, "What great sadness this is!"
咁啲鄰居知道之後，又走去同老夫講：哎呀，咁不幸嗰度咁慘喺度啊，又整斷咗隻腳啊！
Now you will be unable to count on your son's help.
咁於是嚟講話，你又而且嚟講又係做唔到，即係整傷嗰隻腳嚟講，又係做唔到一啲事，即係做唔到應該要做嘅嘢。
What a failure to break in the horse properly.
跟住嚟講話，你件不幸嘅事嚟講，你又大即係會好慘喺度。
What a tragedy.
跟住係一種悲劇嚟嘅。
And the farmer looked at them and said, "Maybe no."
跟住嗰個農夫亦都係講同一番説話喺度啦，或者係啦，但係亦未必係嘅喎。
And then the next day, interestingly, the next day a general from the Imperial Chinese army came.
咁第二日嚟講咧，啱啱有一班啲官兵嚟到嗰度啦，咁呢個將軍就帶住佢啲官兵嚟講，就去到佢嗰度地方嗰度。
He came to collect all the young men of the village to get into the army.
因為佢哋嚟徵兵嗰度，想將啲後生年青嘅人嚟講咧，全部係將佢哋係帶去戰場嗰度打仗。
And their assignment was to fight in the front line of the army with the enemy.
咁以呢啲咁嘅所徵到嘅一個嘅年青人嚟講咧，就要係前線同敵人打仗。
Now the farmer's son, because he broke his leg, the general said, "No, you can't fight in the army, so you stay here."
咁由於個頭先個農夫個仔嚟咁咪跌斷咗隻腳喺度啦，咁如果跌斷咗於是個將軍嚟講：你冇用喺度啊，你唔可以幫手打仗，所以喺度你留喺度啦，唔需要去前線嗰度打仗。
And then all the neighbors came running to the farmer and said, "What great joy!"
咁於是啲鄰居嚟講又走去講：哇！你真係開心喺度，真係好彩喺度啦。
So your son avoided facing certain death at the front lines.
佢話你個仔變咗就唔需要去前線嗰度啦，唔需要係戰死沙場啊。
What a blessing!
佢話真係一個好嘅祝福喺度。
And the farmer said, "Maybe yes, maybe no."
咁個農夫有樣講啦，或者係啦，又或者唔係。
Yeah, so we can understand here in the story itself how karma can, within one life of the farmer, within a few days, how your life can be positive or negative. Yeah.
咁所以我哋從呢個故事喺度咧，即使呢個農夫嘅生命嚟講啦，只有短幾日時間嚟講係發生咁多嘢喺度，有不幸咧，有係好嘅，有唔好嘅嘢。
Now there are two types of karma. One is called auspicious karma, and the other one is called inauspicious karma.
咁業力嚟講兩種啦，一種叫係好嘅業報啦，一種係叫做唔好嘅業報啦。
Now, auspicious karma means daily or constant obligatory work.
咁呢個係善報嚟講，就係你盡忠職做好你自己嘅職責喺度咧，帶出嚟好嘅結果喺度。
Yeah. Things like bathing, daily bathing.
就好似譬如我哋嘅責任嚟講，譬如我哋每日都要洗澡沖涼啦。
Chanting your Gayatri 3 times a day.
或者對奉者嚟講，每日你念嗰個加千萬長啦3次啦。
Worshipping the Lord.
崇拜至尊主啦。
So that's like daily or constant obligatory duties.
而每日咧，或者係恆常要做嘅一個職責嘅責任喺度。
Yeah. And then you have the rituals, which are also auspicious karma.
嗰一種嚟講就係啲儀式喺度啊，啲儀軌儀式喺度。
That means you do oblations, you perform rites for your forefathers' satisfaction of their departed soul.
嘅意思，如果譬如你係做啲係祭祀啊，或做一啲供奉啊，俾你啲祖先喺度啊，咁亦都係屬於係個善行嚟嘅。
Yeah. And then you have this inauspicious karma. This is bad. Generally, those are activities that are against scriptural injunctions.
咁有啲係叫做係唔好嘅一個活動喺度嘅，就好似譬如係唔跟隨經典咧，入邊嘅訓詞做嘅呢啲係啲罪惡嘅活動嚟。
Sometimes it's also known as V karma.
咁我哋叫做 V-karma 啦，梵文。
And then also this is also bad karma when you do not want to do auspicious work.
咁另外嚟講，當你係唔想做一啲善行嘅工作嚟講，都係屬於一種叫做罪惡活動嚟嘅。
Yeah, sometimes something is good to do, and then you try to avoid that, then it becomes a negative karma for you.
咁如果明明都知道嚟講，其實係個好事嚟嘅喺度嘅，但係呢個好事你都唔走去做嗰陣時嚟講咧，咁呢樣嚟講係變咗係罪惡嘅活動係壞事嚟。
For example, if you see someone is suffering, or maybe they were walking and their finger got caught in the door, and you just walk past without helping, then you are actually accumulating bad karma.
咁好似譬如一個人嚟講咧，佢見到一隻狗嚟講係好驚緊要係避咗，但你行過即係直行直過，又冇理佢冇幫佢嚟講咧，咁對你嚟講其實呢個係一個唔好嘅一個活動嚟嘅。
Now, according to the readings in Bhagavad Gita, whether it's good karma or bad karma, they are not good for us.
咁根據博家梵歌嚟講咧，無論所謂好嘅業報或者壞嘅業報嚟講，其實對我哋講都唔係一件好事嚟嘅。
Because good karma binds us, bad karma also binds us.
因為無論係好嘅業報或者壞業報咧，都將我哋係捆綁住。
Sometimes you can say, I did good, and then I did bad, so they must cancel each other.
咁有時我哋會以為啦，就我做一件好事，跟住做一件壞事咧，咁就可以對消翻。
But it doesn't work like that.
但係其實唔係咁樣嘅度。
They never cancel each other.
唔會係有對沖，可以係大家互相抵消。
Rather, they are always binding.
因為所有呢啲只係將我哋係捆綁我哋喺度。
That means if you have good karma, you have to live the good karma.
咁意思嚟講咧，當你有好嘅業報嚟講咧，你就要係生活啦，即係將呢啲好嘅業報嘅果報嚟講係喺你生活嗰度係走翻出嚟。
And if you have bad karma, then you have to live the bad karma also.
咁當你有一個壞嘅果報嗰陣時嚟講，你喺個生命中嚟講，你要將呢個壞嘅果報嚟講咧係實現翻出嚟。
So both types of karma are applicable to only human beings.
咁呢啲咁嘅好嘅業報或壞業報咧，只係喺人類身上嗰度先會係有嘅啫。
Okay. Sometimes people will say good karma or bad karma, it's all relative.
咁有時啲人講就所謂好嘅業報或壞業報嚟講係相對喺度嘅。
And then they try to define what is good and what is bad, and then they find it's all confusing.
咁有時變咗佢哋喺呢方面係作一個定義喺度，究竟邊啲係叫做好啊？咁邊啲壞嚟講，邊啲搞到係好混亂。
Because we can say from our point of view what is good, and someone can say from their point of view what is good for you is bad for them.
咁有時佢哋會咁樣講，就係話有時你所謂嘅好嘅嘢嚟講，對你嚟講係好嘅啫，但係對我嚟講，我覺得係唔好喺度。
We may have ideas of what is good and bad, but we don't have much clarity.
咁佢哋由於嚟講對呢方面冇點分得好清喺度，究竟係好啊係壞係乜嘢喺度。
So generally, when people say, "Let's, you're okay, I'm okay," they try to do a balanced perspective.
咁所以當啲人成日講話你又幾好啊，我又幾好嚟講，佢嘗試嚟講係做一個平衡咁樣睇一件事喺度。
And therefore, it ends up confusing everyone.
咁其實當佢哋嚟講佢哋冇理清楚究竟係好壞係點樣喺度咧，變咗令到嚟講佢哋一聽完之後嚟講係比較混亂。
Because someone says this, someone says that, and this one says this, and that one says that, and it's just confusing.
因為有啲人嚟講，佢又講一番説話係咁樣啦，而另啲人嚟講又講另一番説話喺度，變咗三四人講嘅嘢都係唔同喺度咧，變咗聽完之後嚟講，你覺得好亂，究竟唔知邊樣先係真嘅。
And then the other group of people will say God is benevolent, He's always wonderful, He's giving, but then He is not powerful enough to stop your bad karma.
咁有啲人嚟講，神係好恩慈、好偉大啦，好犀利喺度，但係佢唔能夠可以阻止阻止你嘅業報喺度。Therefore,
you find most people don't really understand karma properly, and
Come
they
on.
just make it more and more
咁
confusing.
神其實唔係好偉大喺度，即係佢唔能夠阻止你嘅業報喺度，咁變咗啲人嚟講咧，會搞到你講越嚟越亂喺度啲嘢。
Okay, so karma is actually like a
咁
boomerang. Yes. The result of every action eventually returns to the doer of that action.
咁呢個其實嚟講，可以講你係呢個回力標，好似回力標咁樣喺度。咁佢個回收就係你抌呢個活動出去，最後嚟講，我係翻返轉頭喺你嗰度。
Okay, the reaction that comes back depends on the degree of good or bad and the intention.
咁當你做嘅活動嚟講，睇你嗰個出發點係點樣嗰度嘅程度係點樣嚟講咧，或者會懷住咩嗰個心水你做嚟講咧，就會係翻返去你嗰度發生。
So what am I saying? There is karma also in shaking people's hands. You take some karma.
咁我講即係譬如好似你同人哋握手嚟講度咧，都可以話係有業報喺度。
There's karma in saying hi, how are you?
咁就好似譬如業報同你講，點啊，你幾好啊嘛。
Or even smiling at someone, right? Sometimes you smile at the wrong person, they'll punch you.
點解會咁講？好似譬如有時你同一個人打招呼嗰度，有時你同一個唔啱嘅人打招呼嚟講，或者同佢笑嚟講咧，佢會無端端上嚟可能打你都唔出奇。
Or they may be following you or stalking you.
咁或者會嚟講係跟住你嚟講喺度啦，跟住係揾你麻煩喺度。
So everything triggers some reactions.
咁其實每做一樣嘢嚟講都係有一個果報活動。
So, like this man, he thinks it won't hit him.
咁好似譬如嗰啲人咁樣喺度擁一擁嗰塊嘢喺度啦。
So eventually it's going to come to him.
咁開頭佢未發覺得到，到最後嚟講，將呢個骨牌嚟講，最後嚟講係到到最後嗰塊嗰陣時嚟講，就係砸翻落去嗰度。
So this is another demonstration of reaction of karma.
咁你其實呢一個示範喺度咧，話俾你知，業報活動要業報果報活動嚟講，會係有啲點樣係發生。
So anything that happens or everything that is happening is going to be the cause of something else.
所有嘅發生緊而家嘅嘢喺度，或者而家我哋所做嘅嘢嚟講咧，將來嚟都會係令到將來有啲嘢會發生。
So we mentioned that, and everything happening is also a result of some other cause that happened in the past.
咁就好似而家發生我哋身上嘅嘢嚟講咧，都係以前係所做嘅活動嚟到而家發生，喺我哋而家發生。
Yeah, so this is the action, reaction, and action cycle.
咁呢個就係活動啦，同埋個結果，活動結果呢個咁係一個循環。
Okay, so all these are determined and sanctioned by the Supreme Personality of Godhead.
所有呢啲嚟講咧，都係得到至尊主嘅允許底下，然後先可以會發生。
He is the Lord, the Paramatma, who is seated in our heart as the witness.
咁至尊主一個超靈嘅身份喺度啦，處於我哋內心嗰度，佢係我哋所有活動嘅見證者。
Upadrastamantascha Bharta Bhakta Maheshwara Paramatmeti Chapi Ukto Deshi Purusho Paraha Deyasmi Purusho Parama. So the Lord in the heart, He is the one who sanctions whatever actions we do. He can see, and He is the one who is the witness also.
咁呢個至尊主嚟講係處喺我哋嘅內心嗰度啦，去允許我哋所有嘅事情發生到，亦都係一個見證我哋所有嘅活動。
So we may think I'm doing something bad, nobody is watching, so I should be okay.
咁有時或者我哋咁樣諗，偷偷地咁諗就而家冇人睇到喺度啦，咁我做一啲唔好嘅嘢嚟講都冇人知嘅。
But actually someone is always watching you.
咁事實上某一啲人嚟講咧，某一個人嚟講咧，成日都睇住我哋嘅。
So therefore, in our lives, we sometimes find we suffer more for things that we think we shouldn't be punished.
所以有時我哋諗嚟講，其實我做啲嘢嚟講冇乜大不了喺度嘅，點解我即係要受苦得咁犀利喺度嘅？我哋會咁樣諗喺度。
So the Lord is like the witness, but He is also like the judge who imprisons one and rewards another according to the law and their activities.
咁主嚟講就內心超靈啦，咁去見證佢做嘅嘢喺度咧，佢就好似一個法官咁樣嚟講咧，係判定我哋監獄嚟講，我哋係受到咩嘅懲罰咧？
Alright, so I was thinking I will stop here at this point. This is like the halfway point, and we'll continue tomorrow. So if there's any comments, questions, or some reflections?
咁我喺呢一點嗰度講到呢度，咁我停落嚟喺度啦。咁我哋聽日會繼續。咁喺度嚟講，大家有冇咩嘅評論啊，或者有啲咩嘅即係感覺見到你講自己有啲咩睇法喺度咁樣，或者問題喺度。
Yeah. You want to? Do you have another mic? No, it doesn't matter.
I'm just wondering, so you're mentioning about the two karmas, it's karma and vikarma, and I'm curious, what about akarma? How does that fit into this?
Yeah. There is also another action called akarma. Now, there's two types of akarma. One akarma means that you're meant to do that action, but you refuse to do that activity. So that's one form of karma, and that's not good. That also falls under bad karma. Yeah. The other karma is when we do spiritual activities. So there's no karma. So that's also called akarma. Yeah. So in general, for religious or spiritual activities, all those activities do not generate a binding force. Rather, they are liberating. Yeah. If you have karma also, those actions that you do for the pleasure of the Lord burns away the karma that's holding you back also. So that karma is different. So we generally say it's Krishna karma. Yeah. But when we, you better translate.
咁啊，湯寶寶去問個問題就係頭先你提到你講有 karma 啦 ，vikarma， 但係好似阿 karma 你冇提到。咁阿 karma 你寶寶講有可以咁樣有兩種睇法。阿 karma 一種就係有啲經典叫你唔好做，你唔去做，呢種叫做阿 karma。另一種嚟講就係靈性方面嘅阿 karma， 就係根據經典所做嘅活動嚟講係冇呢個業力喺度嘅阿 karma。咁而根據經典你所做呢個做嘅活動阿 karma 嚟講咧，係可以淨化我哋嘅存在喺度嘅。呢個靈修方面係好喺度，所以呢個係建議就係咁做。
Yeah, go ahead. He has another question. It's okay.
So, going back earlier to your talk as well, you mentioned we're talking about the three planetary systems, and about you mentioned, for example, that in the middle planetary system is driven by the mode of passion.
Yeah.
Okay, so I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong, I would imagine that all three planetary systems actually are all part of the jail, so to speak. Yeah. So you have the gold, the silver, and the iron.
That's right.
And so then actually they're all characterized by activity. All are characterized by activity. And so that in the middle planetary system activity is characterized by Rajagun.
Yeah.
And then so then I was wondering if you could speak a little bit about activity in the upper planetary system. I mean, we talk about like enjoying and your credits are done and you come back down. So then what sort of activities are in that upper planetary system?
Okay.
咁Martin 講唔係Prabhu講到就係話你上中下三個世界嚟講啦，咁好似講呢個地球嚟講，啲人嚟講就係激情形態喺度，咁所以佢所做活動嚟講，亦激情形態底下所做嘅活動。咁你講到係天堂星宿嚟講，啲人嚟講係享受喺度。咁究竟佢哋係喺天堂星宿嚟講，啲人嚟講係亦都係屬於咩形態底下嚟講做佢嘅活動咧？
In general, both in the upper planetary system and in the lower planetary system, the living entity is actually using up his karma, you can say. So in the upper planetary system, he is given greater facilities to enjoy his senses. And after a period of time when he has used his so-called credit, that's what I was thinking, that's in credit. He's using his positive credits used up. So once it's been used up, then he has to vacate that place. And so based on his subsequent karma that he's having, he will either come to the middle planet, in general usually to the middle planetary system. If not, if he has to suffer in that life, then he'll go to a lower planetary system to suffer somewhat. So it's pretty much that, in general everyone comes to the middle planetary system to generate good and bad karma, mostly. Now, is it possible to elevate oneself from the upper planetary system? Yes. You can be a demigod, but the point is, in the upper planetary system, it's like now in Hong Kong at this time, everyone is going to party. So there's every corner you turn around, there's a party. So heavenly planet is like that. You can go and just simply enjoy.
咁Prabhu 佢提到就係話響譬如天堂星宿嚟講咧，其實天堂星宿又好或者係低等嘅星宿都好喺度啦。咁佢哋都係實現翻佢自己嘅活動嘅結果喺度，好似譬如喺天堂星宿嚟講咧，因為佢哋係有善報喺度啦，咁佢哋係享受喺度，係各方面嘅享受佢哋都有喺度。而下等星世界嚟講咧，人哋講係受苦，又係將佢哋嘅壞業報要受苦喺度。咁所以其實佢哋嚟講係當佢哋啲業報完咗之後嚟講咧，就會落翻呢個地球嗰度嘅。好似譬如天堂星宿嚟講，佢哋用盡佢哋嗰個善行嘅果報嚟講，翻嚟呢個地球嗰度啦。咁跟住低等星宿嚟講，佢受完苦之後嚟講，翻呢個地球嗰度。咁至於喺呢個地球嚟講，你哋會係可以產生佢哋自己嘅嗰個善嘅果報或者係壞果報係喺呢個地球嗰度嘅。而天堂星宿或者係低等星宿嚟講咧，都係實現翻佢自己一啲嘅果報活動喺度。咁好似譬如你講到香港嚟講，咁而家呢個時候嚟講咧，譬如出街嚟講，啲人都係慶祝緊喺度啊，好多嘅活動啊，好多嘅聚會喺度啊咁樣。天堂星宿亦都係一樣，啲人嚟講淨係識享受喺上面嗰度。
Thank you. When I focus on you, I forget my train of thought. So there's so much to enjoy in the upper planetary system that the purpose in life and the goal of life is forgotten. Yeah. So, but fortunately, there are also devotees in the upper planetary system, and they worship the Supreme Lord. So those demigods and so on who go for that kind of association will progress upward and higher planetary, eventually back to Godhead. Yeah.
咁天堂星宿嚟講，有太多享受喺度，啲人根本就係冇乜時間嚟講，我係諗到係即係靈性方面嘅一個修行度。但幸好嚟講咧，喺天堂星宿嚟講都有奉獻者喺度，有啲奉獻者係崇拜至尊主喺度。咁如果呢啲半成人嚟講，有機會同呢啲係奉獻者係聯誼喺度嚟講，得到佢哋嘅聯誼啊，得到嘅指示嚟講咧，佢哋都會係有機會嚟講係崇拜至尊主喺度啦。咁提升佢哋自己咧，係翻去神手，回歸呢個靈性世界都有嘅。
Because there's so much facilities to enjoy, and then everyone is enjoying. And so your association is everyone wants to enjoy. So there's a tendency to give up on trying to pursue what is beneficial for you.
咁事實上個享受嘅機會太多喺度啦，每一個人都係只係計顧住係享受喺度啦，咁變咗我嚟講會忽視咗佢哋真正要追求嗰個最終嗰個目標係響邊度。
The food is good, the air is clean, no pollution, the water is like nectar, everything you touch is pleasing and wonderful, the clothings are far out, so why not enjoy?
咁食物係咁之好喺度啦，水又冇啲水嚟講又好清澈好甜美啦，咁啲空氣又冇污染喺度啦，啲衫嚟講就係幾咁之試正喺度啦，咁所以何樂而不為？點解個個都唔享受？即係個個變咗會只會追求享受喺度。
Therefore, heavenly planets, in general, people forget the goals of life clearly, and there's more. It becomes like a resort. Like people work so hard, and then they go on a cruise ship or whatever. So that's what they do, and then they think, "Oh, I'm so happy," and then before long, their karma is finished. They have to come back and start working the next week. Yeah.
所以有時有啲人盡情工作之後，你跟住去盡情享受喺度啦。咁所以喺呢啲天羅星宿嚟講，啲人嚟講，因為太多機會係享受喺度，佢會盡情享受啦，忘記咗人生嘅目標。但係當佢哋呢個福報潤盡之後嚟講咧，佢哋就係翻嚟個地球嗰度。
So in a sense, the middle planetary system here, it's more balanced because you have the opportunity to understand that you are suffering. Yeah, if you go to the lower planetary system, the suffering is so much, it's too much, that you just want relief. Yeah.
咁但係喺呢個地球嚟講，呢個叫中等世界嚟講咧，地球嚟講係最好喺度，因為佢係一個平衡度啦，你又會有受苦有享受喺度啦，咁變咗嚟講會係翻你嘅理智嚟講會係會追尋啲靈性方面嘅目標喺度。咁至於下等世界嚟講太痛苦喺度啦，啲人嚟講淨係喺度係咁受苦嚟講咧，心目中嚟講咧，只會係諗住嚟講點樣去脫離個苦海喺度，苦個痛苦嘅狀態喺度。
And generally, if you go to the lower planetary system and when you come back to the middle planetary system, because you are so bad, you will take a lower form of life, not a human form when you come back.
咁對於低等星宿嚟講，啲人嚟講，因為係佢業報十分之差喺度啦，即使佢受完佢啲咁嘅業力嘅結果之後咧，佢投身翻上呢個地球或者呢個中等世界嚟講咧，佢都係以最低等嘅生命形式投生嘅。
If you don't take birth in a lower form of living entity, then you'll take birth in the human form, but you may live in a country that you have no good facilities and you may be suffering a lot.
咁或者你會係投胎唔同嘅生命形式，或者你有機會做翻人到喺度啦，咁但係都會去到好差嘅環境喺度啊，或者嗰個地方嚟講，會係令到你好受苦得好犀利嘅。
The suffering so much that you're only thinking of survival.
咁你受苦得好犀利嚟講，你自己點樣諗住係顧住生存喺度。
And that's why devotees are compassionate. They go there and wake them up and say, look, there's a better alternative than suffering.
所以奉者係幾咁之仁慈喺度啦，無論你處於咩環境都好啦，佢會係嘗試去就係喚醒你嘅意識之覺啦，係幫你。
But the difficulty is when someone is in deep ignorance, it's very hard to make them realize there's more to life than just suffering and trying to survive. Yeah.
但係一啲人如果着個意識之覺太蒙蔽得太犀利嚟講咧，咁係好難將佢喚醒，俾佢知道嚟講，其實人嘅生命嚟講有更加嘅嘢可以係追尋得到喺度。
So to help them, the devotees who are preaching, they take the karma, and so they elevate their consciousness sufficient enough to take up devotional life.
所以奉者咁之仁慈喺度啦，佢哋向佢傳教嚟講啦，係提升佢哋係攞走嚟某啲業報，等佢哋係意識之覺提升到嚟講有足夠嘅意識之覺嚟講係明白靈性嘅知識。
That's what devotional service and association is all about. Otherwise, how the person is getting better? Because you are relieving them of their suffering.
所以如果唔係點解即係奉獻服務嚟講係奉獻者話自己咁之係犀利喺度，就係話如果唔係嚟講你攞走佢嘅業力或者俾呢啲知識佢哋嚟講，點可以係令到佢哋提升上嚟咧
？So that the karma doesn't affect you, you have to be chanting very nicely and following the principles properly, so the karma doesn't touch you. You become a via media to let it pass through you to Krishna all the way.
咁當你譬如頭先Prabhu講到就係話你傳教時嚟講，你要係可能要攞對方一啲嘅業嚟講啦。咁但係呢方面你首先你要自己做好準備喺度，你要係唱頌唱得好喺度啊，你規範守則守得好喺度啊，自己作為一個透明嘅媒介，咁樣先可以將你喺人哋身上攞嘅業報嚟講，將佢轉介到俾 Krishna 嗰度。
So as a devotee, you can now understand why our actions have value and consequences.
咁對奉獻者嚟講，點解我哋做個活動嚟講咧係幾咁之重要喺度咧？同埋個因果關係嚟講係點樣
So what we say to a newcomer, what we say to a person we meet out there, how to elevate their consciousness, we should always be thinking, how am I positively helping them?
咁所以我哋喺出邊講係接觸到一啲人喺度啦，向人哋係講呢種嘅知識嗰陣時，我哋要知道嚟講就係點樣嚟講咗一個最好嘅、最正面嘅一個方法嚟講，係幫我哋提升佢哋。
So ultimately we have to become their well-wishers.
咁希望我哋 變成佢哋嘅一個最好嘅祝願者啦。
It takes a lot of practice, but then if we genuinely want to help someone, we are their well-wisher.
咁當然啦，呢個係需要長時間嗰個提升嘅練習先做到嗰度啦。咁我哋希望變到我哋係佢哋嘅一個祝願者啦。
Yeah, I'll stop here. Yeah, is that all right? Okay. Yeah. Yes, mother. Okay, here.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Earlier you said, if I understood you correctly, you made the point that devotees who engage in devotional service for selfish reasons will have karmic reactions. We have to be careful because we incur karmic reactions. So I'm a little, I need some clarity on this because most of us, well, no, I won't speak for anyone else. I am in mixed devotional service. So obviously, intellectually, I understand how it should be, but it's not fully realized. So I still going back and forth. So what kind of karmic reaction am I going to get? Because my understanding is that engaging in devotional service is our karma. But if I'm engaging in devotional service without pure thing, with mixed intentions, so what am I doing? Is it a karma, or do I get karmic reaction, or how does it work? Please.
It's your consciousness.
Yeah, sorry, we'll let him.
Yeah, you need to translate.
咁啊，因為個問題先，寶寶講就係話，如果我哋做奉獻部，如果係即係有個私心底下嚟講，可能都仲有啲業力嘅影響喺度。咁啊，之提到一樣就係話，或者我哋仲未到一個好純粹嘅階段，一個完全無私嘅階段度，我哋仲有啲混雜喺度，即係有些少無私有時有自私咁樣混雜嘅一個意思。咁當我哋咁做，因為我知道如果做奉獻服務應該係冇業力喺度嘅，冇業報啊。但係如果當我咁嘅心態底下嚟講咧，所做嘅奉獻服務嚟講，究竟係有業力咧，啲人冇業力喺度咧？咁伯父提到嚟講就係講到話個意識知覺方面。
Anyway, that's a good question because
呢個係一個好嘅一個問題。
Because everyone is going through that.
咁好多時我哋好大多數都係咁樣。
And I said it's your consciousness, meaning that what is your intention actually? 咁其實最主要嚟講就係我哋係個出發點個出發點係點樣喺度，個用個出嗰個意圖係點樣喺度，同埋意識知覺係點樣。For example, if you have a family to take care, then if you are thinking my family members are servants of Krishna, so I'm working to help them so that they are serving Krishna nicely.
咁好似譬如我哋屋企人嚟講，咁當我哋係服務緊我屋企人嗰時嚟講，咁我哋諗嚟講就係我哋屋企人嚟講係都係 Krishna 個僕人嚟緊度㗎。我希望係服務佢嚟講就好似服務 Krishna 嘅僕人咁樣。
So that's a favorable way of thinking your family, looking at your family. 咁
當你用咁嘅一個叫做係善意一個諗法嚟講，好嘅諗法嚟講咧，咁其實一個係好嘅一個正面嘅一個諗法嚟嘅。
But if you're thinking it's my family and I have to take care of them, then there's that my factor involved in that. So that's more a selfish thing. So there is reactions for that. Yeah.
咁譬如調翻轉，我哋唔係諗嚟講，以一個 Krishna 嗰個意識嚟講，諗去話呢個係 Krishna 僕人，想我服務佢哋嘅。調翻轉嚟講，呢個係我屋企人嚟嘅，我服務我自己屋企人嗰時嚟講咧，咁嗰個出發點啊，嗰個意識又唔同咗。
In the second case, you are thinking you are the provider and so on. In the first case, you are doing it as a service for Krishna. Yeah, so that's the slight variation, but it's all in the consciousness how we see it.
咁好似譬如我哋係提供某啲服務俾人哋，或者係供給人某啲樣咁。如果當我哋咁嚟講，其實係服務用嚟我哋服務 Krishna 嗰時嚟講呢，我意識知覺要好清楚呢方面。
It gets very confusing also because sometimes as a student you are studying and then you want to get good grades and then But you have to also understand. I want to do it well for Krishna. Yeah, I want to get good grades so that they will know I'm a Krishna's devotee. If you can think like that, then you're doing it for Krishna. That's very tricky.
咁好似譬如係我係一個學生嚟嘅，咁我諗住係考試考成績好啲嗰度嚟講咧，咁當你為咗自己咁諗嗰陣時嚟講咧，咁可能係即係正如講咗個出發點嘅意識知覺係唔同。但係當我調翻轉嚟講就係話我因為我喺度做好啲嚟講，因為我係 Krishna 嘅奉獻者喺度，所以我希望能夠係攞好嘅成績。咁樣嚟講，咁嗰個諗法意識知覺又變咗係唔同喺度，所以有些少比較係複雜喺度。
So the litmus test is how much are you being attracted to material things.
咁我哋應該嚟講點樣嚟睇喺度嚟講就係話，我哋俾物質嘅能量物質嘅嘢嚟講引誘嚟講有吸引嚟講有幾大喺度。
Or how less or your attraction to material things are getting. So then you know you're doing it correctly.
咁嘅意思就或者我哋係對呢個物質嘅依附嚟講程度有幾大喺度，咁我哋從呢方面嚟講可以係咁樣睇喺度。
Therefore, as practicing devotees, we have to be careful how we tackle devotional life and material life.
所以我哋修習嗰陣時嚟講要留意啲喺度啦，譬如點樣係處理面對嚟講係靈修生活同埋物質嘅生活，我哋要好小心。
And the other tricky one is devotees, you often hear they say balancing spiritual and material life.
咁另外我哋講好多奉獻者有時會睇到就係點樣平衡翻呢個物質生活同埋靈修嘅生活喺度。
Actually, there's no such thing as balancing. Yeah. So now you understand.
咁你頭先我哋
spiritual or material.
There's no such thing as spiritual life and material life. There's only one life.
Yeah.
所以
Only spiritual life, and you sometimes have to do material activity.
Yeah.
所以其實頭先我哋咁講嚟講就係意識知覺好緊要。其實我哋應該完全係靈性嘅意識知覺嚟處理物質嘅嘢喺度，所以其實冇所謂物質生活、靈性生活，其實用靈性意識知覺嘅出發點而係睇物質生活嘅嘢喺度，所以其實全部都係得靈性嘅生活嘅啫。
So Arjuna, when he's in this confusion, Krishna says, do your duty, but do it as an offering to me. So if you can adjust your life where everything is an offering, then you're doing karma.
所以喺博吉梵歌嚟講啦 ，Krishna 都講就係話叫阿尊嚟講做好你嘅責任，但係咩咧？做好你責任嚟講，當係一種供奉係俾我喺度，所以其實嚟講係最後嚟講所做嘅嘢嚟講都係供奉俾 Krishna。
So that's karma pointed at Krishna.
咁我哋所做嘅活動嚟講都係指向 Krishna， 係向 Krishna 而做。
I think most of us sometimes we point at Krishna, and other times we just forget Krishna.
問題嚟講就係我哋而家有時嚟講所做嘅，你有時咧會係指向 Krishna， 但有時嚟講就係唔記得咗 Krishna。
But because our Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters are kind, they are always protecting us. But then we have to be very careful when that protection is not sufficient.
咁但係由於聖泡泡仁慈喺度，同你聖道嘅仁慈喺度，成日保護住我哋喺度啦。咁如果唔係，我哋好多時會係犯好多錯喺度。但係我哋其實要好小心喺度咯，因為即使聖泡泡靈聖導師保護我哋喺度啦，但係我哋自己都要做足夠嘅防範咯，我哋自己保護自己。
Yeah, I think when you come to a point in your life where you say, "I'm done with that," that's when you are truly focused in your pursuit of pure devotion life.
Yes, I mean,
Yeah.
that's absolutely right.
Yeah.
But I guess my question is, I know what is the ideal,
Yeah.
and I also know I'm not there. So my conclusion is this: I'm engaged in devotional service, but it's not pure. I know how to do it for Krishna, and sometimes I'm doing it for Krishna, sometimes I'm not. So then, what is my situation? Am I accumulating karma because my intentions are not pure? It's mixed. But at the same time, it's also said that devotional service is a karma. So I engage in devotional service, there's no karma creation. So if I'm engaging in devotional service, which is
When you I know what you're saying.
媽姐就係再重新講翻頭先嗰個點嚟講，就係話即係有時我哋係做嘢嚟講一心一意係淨為 Krishna 而做，但係有時嚟講我哋係未必係做得到，因為而家我哋嘅階段嚟講仲有啲混雜喺度嘅。咁究竟嗰個最後走出嚟講，究竟個會帶出嚟咩後果咧？嗰個業報有冇業報，有冇業報喺度咧？咁
Yeah, like in the sixth canto, Kunjara Snana, right? The elephant taking bath, you know. So, are we the elephant taking bath? You know, so that's something, but that's based on sinful proclivity. Yeah. But it's very similar when we want to do karma, but at the same time we want to, we want to do devotional service. But the goal of devotional service is so that you stop all this unnecessary activity.
Yes,
Yes.
but it's not even that.
Yeah.
I'm saying like when I'm actually engaging in the devotional service.
So you are not creating karma at that time.
Right, so when I'm doing something, I'm cooking
Yes.
for Krishna, I'm
Yes.
doing, offering something, I'm not doing it with full focus and love that Krishna, this is for you. I have some selfish motivation.
Mixed.
Yeah, mixed. It's mixed. Krishna, I'm doing this.
Karma Mishra
Don't
Bhakti.
forget what I'm doing for you.
Yeah.
Make sure you.
That's Karma Mishra Bhakti.
Karma Mishra.
Yeah.
So then what is it?
You are progressing but very slowly.
So what is the karmic reaction?
It depends on the actions, karma, whatever you're doing. It all depends. If Krishna is not in that equation, you are doing karma.
If Krishna
It's not in that equation, you are doing karma. You are taking karma.
But this is Krishna's. I'm serving Krishna. I'm serving.
Yeah, but at the same time, you are independent of Krishna also.
So it's mixed, as you said.
Yes.
So what am I accruing here? Is it a karma or am I accruing karma here?
You are accruing karma, but once your devotion comes to a certain level, when it's fixed, nishta, that's when you get rid of all the other accumulation.
Yes, so but as long as I'm engaged in karma Vishwa Bhakti, even though it's devotional service, but it's mixed, so there is still karmic.
There is some reaction.
There is
Yes. Because it's like until you come to a certain level of your faith and so on, you still have some lingering things. Yeah.
咁講到一點講就係，即使我哋而家喺呢個混雜嘅奉獻服務好似嚟講咧，我哋仍然會有一啲嘅業力會產生喺度，除非我哋去到一個某一點嚟講，去到好叫做係純粹嘅奉獻服務，或者去到某一個奉獻服務一個梯階嗰陣時嚟講咧，咁呢啲咁嘅業報嚟講先係冇喺度。
We stop here.
Yeah.
We can continue tomorrow.
咁我哋聽日可以再繼續喺度。
Srila Prabhupada ki
Jai.
Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namine Namo देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणी निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पश्यता देशतारिणी देशतारिणी जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्णा कृष्णा कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा Nitai Gauranga Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Jaya Sachinandana Gaura Hari Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Hari Bol Hari Bol Nitai Gaura Hari Bol Jaya Jaya Prabhupada 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Gurudev 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev जय जय श्री श्री गौनिताई की शिला प्रभुपाद की जय नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अस्तोत्र ऐसी भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी शिला प्रभुपाद की नमो विष्णुपाद परमहंस परिचार्य अस्तोत्र श्री भक्ति सिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर शिला प्रभुपाद की अनंत कोटि वैष्णविन की जय नाम आचार्य शिला हरिदास ठाकुर की प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरि गोवर्धन की गंगा माई यमुना माई की तुलसी महारानी भक्ति देवी की जय हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की संकीर्तन यज्ञ की जय ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू द असेंबल डिवोटीज ऑल ग्लोरीज टू श्री गुरु एंड श्री गौरंगा
Namaste Namah Shivaya Jai की और ब्रह्मानंदी
हरि हरि बोल। हरे कृष्ण।